Musical musings, musical musings, musical musings, musical musings.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the latest episode of Musical Musings, airing every Wednesday at 1 p.m. This program is broadcast to you from Rachamakan, University of Technology, Peranakan. And I will be bringing you this program in two parts. For the first part of the program, I will be introducing an artist and a song to you. And we'll discuss a little bit about the artist, and then we will discuss the main themes of the song, like what the song is all about. Then we'll go ahead and take a break and listen to the song. And when we come back for the second part of the program, we will analyze the lyrics. The lyrics are the words to the song, and we will especially take a look at any difficult vocabulary, slang, or sayings, idioms. We call those idioms. Anything that may be a little bit hard to understand. Then we will get to the news and the latest updates from the university as always.
Musical musings, musical musings, musical musings, musical musings.
Welcome, everyone. I am Gary Gray, and I am your host for the Musical Musings program. I'm an American English teacher here at Rachamakan, University of Technology, Peranakan, and I have been teaching here for approximately 8 years. Obviously, I am an English teacher, and I do enjoy incorporating music into my classroom sometimes. Music contains a lot of helpful words or sayings. Could be slang terms, could be idioms that we use. An idiom, again, is a saying which doesn't mean exactly what the words would suggest it means. Those type of things you would not normally learn in a very formal classroom setting where you're just working out of a textbook. Like when you're studying grammar and verb tenses and things like that. You're not going to learn those type of things, and they're important to learn because those are going to be the words and the sayings that we use in conversation. So if you want to be able to communicate with a native English speaker, you need to learn words like those and sayings like those, phrases. And so music is a great way to do that. And so, that's why I bring you this music program. And so for today's episode, we are going to be doing the song Take On Me by Aha. Yes, that is the name of the band. The name of the band is Aha. Now, a little bit about the band. There's actually only 3 people in the band. It's a small group. And it's actually a European band. They come from Oslo, Norway. And they formed in 1982. They're a bit odd in that they took a long time to come out with their first album. We saw that in another group we talked about recently. But usually, most of these groups, they'll come out with their first album in a year, maybe 2 at the most, after forming. These guys didn't come out with their first album until 1985. So they formed in 1982, but didn't get their first album until 1985. So that's really about when they started becoming popular, was around 1985, because obviously you couldn't hear a lot of their music before then, unless you lived in Norway or they were touring in your area. So, again, formed in 1982. They have broken up a few times. I'm not really sure if you want to say they broke up. They've taken a few breaks. So the band went away for a little while and didn't exist. But they always came back together. And in fact, they are still together today. They are still performing today. So that means they've been around for over 40 years, about 43 years. And surprisingly, you don't see this very often with any band. surprisingly, it's the same 3 original band members. Always has been. They have, from the research I've done, I don't know them well enough to know all of this in my head, so I've had to research this. And from the research I've done, I can't see that anyone else has ever been with the band, even just temporarily. Like someone had to take time off, maybe because they had a child or something like that, and so someone else came in and took over for them, whatever, something like that. Nope. Maybe that happened, and maybe those are some of those times where they took breaks, where one of the members wanted to focus on their personal life or whatever, and so the other 2 decided not to go on without the third person, and so they just took a break. I don't know. I'm not really sure why they took several breaks. There was like 3 breaks that they've taken since they formed. Most of them were not tremendously long, so they have been around together performing for most of that 43-year period. Again, when you have 3 breaks, it is going to add up. So there are several years in there, but again, most of the time they have been together and performing. And again, it's the same original 3 members. Now, the style, the genre of music that they do is something called synth pop. Synth is a short word for synthesizer. If you really like music, you probably know what a synthesizer is. But maybe you don't, especially because that's an English word, so maybe you don't know that word. But a synthesizer is like a keyboard, like the electric piano sound there. Except that usually with a synthesizer, it can do more things. It can make sounds. You can adjust the tone differently. It's a little different than just a standard keyboard. A little more complicated, a little more ability to do things with it. So that's what a synthesizer is. So synth pop is pop music which is really heavy with synthesizer sound. And that was quite popular, especially around the mid-1980s, and that's when this band was popular, around the mid-1980s. Again, still around today, but that's when they were most popular, is the mid-80s. Okay, so that is their genre of music, their style. Pop music with a lot of synthesizer. Again, really popular in the mid-80s. It started becoming popular kind of in the early 80s. And there's some rock bands that late 70s and early 80s use a lot of synthesizer in their music. And most of them continued after that, so they still used it into the mid and later 80s. And some of them still perform today, so they're still doing it now. But I mention that because using the synthesizer more started becoming popular in kind of the rock genre first. Groups like Rush and Styx, who we have done on this program, they use a lot of synth in their music. It didn't start really moving over into pop until the early 1980s, and then became really popular in the mid-80s. So that's this band. Again, the name of the band is Aha. Now, the song we're going to be doing from them is Take On Me. This song came out in 1985, which was on their first album. I mentioned that their first album came out in 1985. It was called Hunting High and Low. That's their first album. And this song came out on that album. Now, recently, we have been focusing on bands that are called one-hit wonders. These are bands that have only had one hit, one big hit that made them popular. We did take a little bit of a break from that. We've done a couple of bands that were a little more popular than that, like we did Def Leppard, who's a very popular band. We did them a couple of weeks ago. But over the last few months, we've kind of been focused on these one-hit wonders. Now, the band Aha, most people that are really into music, they'd yell at you if you called them a one-hit wonder. Because they did have another really popular song, and they had quite a few still popular, but less popular songs, but still popular. So they had a lot of hits, just two big ones. But the reason, so they're not really a one-hit wonder. They don't really fit into that category. And some people would be upset if you said they were. I'm sure the band would be upset if you said they were a one-hit wonder, because they would say, well, what about our other stuff? But the reason some people think of them as a one-hit wonder is because this song, Take On Me, is really way more popular than anything else that they've done. They do, like I said, they do have one other hit, which was quite big. But it still doesn't really compare to this one. It also hasn't survived as long as far as the duration of its popularity. I mean, the song Take On Me is still popular today. People think the video is really cool. You can't really say it was one of the first videos that came out. I mean, MTV was out. That's a popular music channel in America. And that's where a lot of music videos first started becoming popular. That started before 1985. Not long before. I don't remember the exact year, but I think it would have been early 1980s. So it was one of the earlier videos, sure. But it wasn't like the very first video, so that's why it became really famous. It's just kind of a cool video, and it was early in the music video period. And the animation in the video was kind of cool. So a lot of people really liked the video. And so that also helped it with its popularity. So again, not really their only hit. So not a one-hit wonder. But Aha, the band, is often thought of as being a one-hit wonder because of this song. Because it's so much more popular than anything else they've done. Okay, so I did mention that this came out on their first album, which is interesting. We've talked about this a lot on this channel, on this program. We've seen this a lot. And I didn't even realize this until I started doing this program and noticed it happen over and over and over and over and over again. And that is that very often an artist's best song or one of their best songs ever comes out on their very first album. And so I always wondered, well, why is that? Why is that? I'm honestly not sure why. But my theory, which I have mentioned here on this program before, so every time we talk about it, I mention it. My theory is that once a band or artist becomes really popular, their record label, the company that produces the records for them, wants more music, more music, more music, more music, more music. And so they're forced to produce music more quickly, so they don't take the time and effort on their music as much after that. And so it's not as creative as maybe what they came out with on their very first album. That's my theory. I don't know. I just think it's very odd and very interesting that is true of so many bands, that their first album has their top hit on it. Again, not always true. Not always true. But it happens quite often. And we see it here again with Aha. This is their first album, Hunting High and Low. Very popular album. The album won Aha a Grammy for I think it was the best new artist, something like that. So they won a Grammy Award. The Grammy Awards are the big music awards that they have in America. And, of course, America is kind of the number one market, so those are really the biggest music awards in the whole world. And they won one of those for this album. So again, Take On Me comes off of that album in 1985. Now, as far as what this song is about, it's really kind of a short song. As you'll see in the second half of our program may be a little on the shorter side this week, which is why I'm taking my time to explain a lot here in our first part of the program. It's not entirely clear when you listen to the words exactly what it's about. Now, part of that may be just because the band is from Norway, and so they're doing this song in English. There might be some translation issues here. But I believe, from what I can tell, just based on the lyrics, is that it's about taking a chance on love. It sounds to me that maybe they don't have a lot of time together. In some parts of the song, it sounds like he's coming. In some parts of the song, it sounds like he's going. It's not really clear. But it's, in some way, there's not a lot of time. And so, do you bother even trying to pursue that love, that relationship? And what it sounds like is the song is saying, yes, take a chance on love. That's what I believe the song is about. A lot of songs, it is a little hard to tell what they're about because the artists usually don't tell you. They want you to interpret the song for yourself. So the artist doesn't tell you what it's about. And because they usually don't, I'll be honest with you, I didn't even research what this one was about because it's, like I said, it's fairly short. It does have 3 verses, but it's all pretty short. So I just kind of read the lyrics, and if you're watching on video, I keep looking down because I have them printed in front of me here. I just read the lyrics and tried to figure out what it means for myself. And I believe that's what it's about. Taking a chance on love. Okay, so let's get to the song. And any of you joining us by video, watching on YouTube, because of copyright issues, we cannot embed the video. So we will give you a link in the upper right-hand corner. Go ahead and click on that link. That'll take you to the music video. And then after you watch the video, you can just come back here for the second half of our program. Everyone else who's just listening, streaming, radio, whatever, we are a radio program. We can embed the music. It's just the video we can't do. So everyone else should be able to listen just fine. All right, let's get to the song.
Musical musings, musical musings, musical musings, musical musings.
Welcome back. All right, so that is Take On Me by Aha, and that is a song about taking a chance on love. Again, I think that's what it's about. It's not entirely clear. Some of the lyrics are a little bit confusing. As I mentioned in the first part of the program, part of that could be just the way it's translated, since the band is not from a native English-speaking country. There could be some translation issues. I can also tell you that at least one of the phrases they use is more like a British English saying, and it's not used very often. In fact, I actually really like a lot of British programs, British television, so I do watch a lot of it. And I'm not even 100% sure what the saying even means. And they have that in here, so it's like, I think they were. I think so. I think part of this is they don't maybe have a really strong grasp of the English language. So some of this is just a language issue. But there's still a few good sayings, slang terms, things like that in here that I think are helpful to learn. So let's get right to the lyrics here. Okay, we start out, we're talking away. I don't know what I'm to say. Okay, that's pretty easy. There's nothing confusing there. When they say they're talking away, it just means they're talking a lot, talking to each other. They're getting to know each other. They're talking away, but he's not sure what to say. I don't know what I'm to say. He is not sure what else to talk about. I'll say it anyway. Today is another day to find you. Okay? So he's not sure what to talk about, but he wants to keep talking. So he'll say something anyway. I'll say it anyway. Today is another day to find you. Now, when he says find you, they're already talking, right? So I think what he means there is to learn about her, to win her over, that sort of thing. He doesn't actually mean finding her. They're already talking. Okay, shying away. Oh, I'll be coming for your love. Okay. All right, so here's one of these sayings that's we don't really use. Could be a translation thing. When he says shying away, shying, that's short for shying. To shy away from something means you kind of back off from it. So again, they're not really sure about taking this chance because he says shying away, but then he says, I'll be coming for your love, okay? So he is going to pursue something. So it says shying away, I'll be coming for your love. Kind of opposite lines there. It means two totally different things. And I think it's because there's some question. In fact, you'll see that in the very next verse where it has that British saying that I mentioned that I'm kind of going to have to kind of guess at exactly what it means. I have an idea, but I have not heard it very often. Okay, so as I said, this is quite a short song. That's the end of the first verse. Then we get to the chorus, and the chorus is very simple because it basically just repeats. It says, take on me, take me on. So to take on something means you would kind of like accepting the challenge. And it could be a bad thing, it could be a good thing. For example, you could take on a fight, which is not necessarily a good thing, unless it's a sporting match type of fight. And that could be fun. It's fun to play sports. So that's what it means to take on something. So he says, take on me. In other words, this is going to be a challenge, again, because they're taking a chance here. So he's saying, take on me. And then it says, take me on. To take something on, that could have the same meaning. Or it could also mean, when you say take me on, it could mean take me on board. In other words, accept me. Which one does he mean there? They could be purposefully trying to mean both. I'm thinking it means, though, to accept him. The reason I say that is because we already said, take on me. You don't need to say, take me on, if it's going to mean the same thing. So I think he means take me on as in accept me. So take on me, take me on. And then they just repeat that. And then it says, I'll be gone in a day or two. So again, short time. Short time. Because he's leaving. Now, it does say, I'm coming for you later in the song, and we also heard him say in this last verse, I'm coming for your love. I don't think it means coming as in he's not there yet. Again, it could. I don't think so. And the reason I don't think so is because it says, I'll be gone in a day or two. So I think he's already there, because we already heard that they're talking, right? we're talking away. So he's already there. This is how I interpret the song. He's already there. When he says he's coming, it means he's going to pursue this relationship. That's what it means. When you come after someone, it means you are pursuing them. It doesn't mean you're physically coming to them. I mean, it could. If they're somewhere else, it could mean that. But it also means that you're maybe trying to form a relationship. And this song is about taking a chance on love. So that's what they're doing. But he's going to be gone in just a couple days. Okay, so that's it for the chorus. Then we get to the second verse. So needless to say, I'm odds and ends. Okay. When you say needless to say, that means what you're going to say next is obvious. It's clear. You should know that. Because I don't have to actually say it. I'm going to say it anyway. That's what needless means. Needless. I don't need to. Need less. Don't need to. Don't need to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Just to make it clear. So he's saying here that it's clear that he's odds and ends. Now, what does that mean? Odds and ends. This is the saying that I'm not really sure what it means. And I think, again, it's British slang and you don't hear it very often, so not 100% clear on this. But I believe this is the saying where it actually should say, I'm at odds and ends. And what that means is unsure. He's unsure what to do. He's confused. Okay? But I'll be stumbling away, slowly learning that life is okay. So, this is why he's confused. I'll be stumbling away. So, in other words, he has to leave in a couple days, right? We saw that in the chorus. We don't know why, but apparently he has no choice, so he's going to have to learn to live with it, slowly learning that life is okay. So he's going to have no choice. He has to leave. So life's just going to have to be okay. All right, so then the verse continues. Say after me, it's no better to be safe than sorry. Okay, so this is a... So say after me. You're asking her. He's asking her to repeat that. In other words, believe the same thing he's believing. Say the same thing he's saying. And it's no better to be safe than sorry is a play on an English saying. And that saying is better safe than sorry. And what that means is that whatever you're doing the safe thing. It's better to be safe than make a mistake, than take some chance and make a mistake. So what he's saying is, no, that's not true. It's no better to be safe than sorry. So once again, it's about taking a chance on love. Even though he's going to be stumbling away and has to learn that life is okay once he's gone, these couple days he's here, let's do this. And he wants her to believe the same thing. So say after me. Repeat after me. Say it too. It's no better to be safe than sorry. So what that means when you're saying it's no better to be safe than sorry is you're saying that it's not good to be safe. Take the chance. Take the risk. You might end up being sorry. Maybe it doesn't work out. You're going to be sad when it's over, so you're going to have to slowly learn that life is okay. So maybe it won't make you happy. But take that chance. That's what he's saying in this song. Okay, then we have the chorus again, and we get to the third verse. All the things that you say, is it life or just to play my worries away? Okay, so what is she saying? All the things that you say, is it life or just to play my worries away? So she's probably saying some good things. because it's playing his worries away, so it's making him not worry. But what I think he's wondering here, again, not everything in this song is clear. These two lines here are not clear. But what I think he's saying here, is it life or just to play my worries away? Playing his worries away means you're just kind of playing games with him. You're not being honest. She's not being genuine. She's not being sincere. She's just saying nice things to make him feel good, so his worries go away. Because he's going to be gone in 2 days anyway, so who cares, right? So is it that? Or is it real life? In other words, is it life? In other words, is it real life? Is she being honest? Is she being sincere? Because she's saying all the right things, all the things you say. So now he's concerned. Is she being sincere? Okay. You're all the things I've got to remember. So again, this follows up with what the last two lines were saying, which is why I think that's what that means. Because he's saying that everything about her is stuff he wants to remember. So she is saying all the right things. So he feels encouraged. He likes where this is going. It seems like she agrees with him to take this chance on love. But it does then say, you're shying away. I'll be coming for you anyway. So apparently she is backing off a little bit. She's not sure. Remember, shying away means to back away from something. To shy away from something means you're really not sure. You're cautious. It doesn't always mean you don't do it. It doesn't mean you don't do it. So, again, she still could be saying most of the right things. To shy away from something just means you're kind of nervous about doing it. You still ultimately may do it, though. So it doesn't mean she's not going to do it. Not going to take the chance here on love. But he does say, I'll be coming for you anyway. So he is still going to pursue her now. If you do that too much, that could actually be a bad thing. You could basically be stalking someone. So, in some ways, the song is actually a little bit creepy. I'll be coming for you anyway. Okay. It's a little bit creepy. But I think we're supposed to take this as a good thing. You know, he's just not going to give up that easily. And like I said, shying away does not necessarily mean she won't do it. She's just nervous. She's not sure. Okay? And then we repeat the chorus again. And that's basically it. So that is Take On Me by a-ha. And when I close out these programs, I usually will give you some other songs to listen to from these bands. As I said, this really is their biggest hit, which is why some people consider them a one-hit wonder. They are not really, though. There is one other big song by a-ha, and that is The Sun Always Shines on TV. It's nowhere near as popular as this song, but it's still very popular. It was especially popular at the time. It's a pretty good song. I do know the song. Kind of a fun song. The sun always shines on TV. And if you do like this style of music, as I mentioned in the first part of the program, they do have a lot of other kind of smaller hits, which is why a lot of people that are really into music, so they're going to know all of these songs, would get upset if you said a-ha was a one-hit wonder. A lot of kind of casual music fans would say they're a one-hit wonder because all they know from a-ha is Take On Me. Maybe some of them know The Sun Always Shines on TV, maybe. But a lot of them may only know Take On Me. And as I've mentioned in other programs, the 1980s were a really big time for music, so a lot of other bands out there. So if you don't break through with a really big hit, you know, a lot of just casual music fans may not hear may not hear some of your songs. So again, that's why a lot of casual fans might only know this song by a-ha. They may only know Take On Me. But they really are not a one-hit wonder. They have The Sun Always Shines on TV. And like I said, they do have a lot of other smaller hits. So if you want to hear more of their music, you can easily find more songs by them. So if you use some streaming service, you can search on there. If you want to watch it on video or whatever, you can go on YouTube and search it. You'll find plenty of other songs. If you just search on a-ha music, Take On Me is definitely going to be the very first one that pops up. But you should get lots of other songs. They do have several other hits to listen to. Okay, so again, the band name is just a-ha. A, then dash, that's the little line, a dash, H-A. That's it, a-ha. And in case you're wondering, where did they come up with that strange name? A-ha is an English saying. And, well, it's not really a saying, it's really just one word. It's kind of a slang term. And it's really kind of just a sound you make. And it's usually when you realize something or you discover something, and maybe it surprises you a little bit. And it's usually something that makes you happy. It's usually a happy surprise. You're working hard trying to figure something out, and yes, you figured it out. You might say, "Aha, I got it." You got the answer. You figured it out. It's usually a good kind of surprise, figuring something out. You've been working hard at something, trying to solve some problem, and now you got the solution. Yes, aha. So aha is like an expression of surprise. And again, it's usually a positive surprise, like you've discovered something, you've found an answer, you've realized something. That's where the band name comes from. That's what that means. A-ha is a surprise, a good surprise. You've discovered something. Okay. Thank you for joining us for today's Musical Musings program. Please stay with us and tune back in next week for another great song. Also, please do not forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you.
Musical